Hey class, welcome to week 2. We had a great first week and I hope you guys are all feeling comfortable with the format of the course and you know how to reach me. We've got those professional emails in and most of you guys have taken that grammar test. As soon as I get the rest of the submissions, I'll go in and I'll grade them and give you guys all 100 for taking that. So please make sure you take it because that's an easy 100 to get. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about week 2 and this shift that we're going to start taking. One of the main themes that I want you to understand that is, pretty much going to drive the content of this course and really the entire subject of English. And if you think about it, pretty much everything about the crazy life that we live is that everything is an argument. And I know that sounds like a really bold statement, but hang with me because we're going to see this throughout the entire course. One of the key skills that I want you to take away from in 1301 is to learn how to both argue well and to write with clarity. So we're going to combine those skills. So we're going to work on grammar, of course, and we're going to, put those skills to use into something that's actually, I think, fun and useful and something that will strengthen your writing all the way through. So we're going to start off pretty easy this week. I am giving you some music. I don't know what your background is with music or what types of music you listen to. I'm a big fan of listening to music. I've always been kind of drawn to protest music, maybe because I am an English major and I do like to argue. So I have a few picked out for you. I have 3. If you come down here a little bit, you can see this is the section here, the readings that you need to do. I have 3. The first thing I want to talk about is a little bit, you're going to read this. I'm not going to go through the entire video here, but you're going to learn really how to analyze an argument and how to look at it closely. One of the first things that you're going to do is, you're going to kind of clear your mind when you sit down with an argument and see if you can pick up what is actually happening. The second thing I like to do is I like to annotate it. I like to mark things up. Sometimes people choose a specific language or word to emphasize something, to make you think a certain way. We see this all the time with different word choices, and they can mean something. So I like to mark those things up. So when you start getting into your analysis of this music, I would print out the lyrics and I give them to you here. I have, 3 different choices here. I've got, a classic. I have a couple classics here and one I think that might come. So the first one is Sam Cooke and it's A Change Is Gonna Come. And then I have CCR's Fortunate Son from the 70s. And then more recently, Childish Gambino's This Is America. If you only have to pick one. So if you are, easily offended by language or something, you don't have to do the third one. But I do have 3 choices for you. And I would like you to explore what these common songs on the radio are actually arguing. So the other thing I want you to do is to watch this short video. I think it's only 4 to 6 minutes, and it's just the evolution of protest music. I just kind of give you a little bit of background information, which is really important because a lot of times when we sit down to make an argument, we want to put it into some kind of context. So I like to borrow from experts. A lot of times when we're in college or we're learning a particular subject, we have our opinions about it, which is great for the argument. But in order to really back up that argument, we want to make sure that we're borrowing the credibility of an expert. So in order to put that paper, that reflection into some kind of context, I would set up that conversation seeing, what is the main points that they're making here and how can I connect my song to maybe some kind of theme that's happening within this discussion of the video. So watch the video You can listen to all the songs if you choose. You can pick one of these. If you have another one that you think is really great, just let me know. And you can write on that too. Try to simplify it a little bit and give you guys 3 that I know are good protest songs. There's several. I don't know if you have listened to, Pink, but What About Us is another great protest song. And I know a lot of people think, well, that's just a romantic song. But if you listen closely, it's definitely not. It has nothing to do with a relationship. But it's kind of cool that, the title gives it a dual meaning. But really, it is a protest song against the government. And I would probably say New Jersey. So here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to pick out your song. You're going to learn a little bit about the history of protest music. And then I have 2 different writings that you're going to do. You have your very first essay assignment that you're going to tackle. This is going to be based on one of the songs. So you'll look through the directions here. It's pretty clear. You're going to do a reader response, which is a little bit less formal of an argument. Most of the time, I would say pretty much any time other than a reflection, and this is a reflection, so it's okay. But any time other than a reflection, you do not want to use I in your writing. We're going to nix that after this first essay, but this one is going to be a little bit more organic. It's going to be a kind of a natural reflection. This is what I think about this song. This is what I think you're arguing. This is kind of how it connects to, the overall theme of protest music. And I break that down for you, so you can check that out. If you have any questions, certainly, ask me on the discussion board, send me an email. You guys know how to reach me, and I'll make sure that you're good to go. The second thing is I just give you some general, things to think about, and you can certainly use these when you're putting together your essay. But the overall idea that I want you to start thinking about with protest music, and really kind of a theme that we're going to explore through, this course, is the idea of censorship. And, should some of these songs be banned? There's a lot of discussion. I kind of want to see, how do you feel about having limits on, certain conversations? This is a big topic. We see it in the news today. We see this, in response to, the flags that are showing up on Twitter, including on, recently Donald Trump's, messages that he's putting up there, his tweets, and how some things are being flagged as saying this is misinformation or this isn't entirely accurate. And that's causing a lot of debate. Should we point out fake news? Do you really have a right to speak about anything and write about anything? Or, with our case this week, can you criticize the government in your music? And can you do so in an offensive way? Should we ban some of these things? Is this not appropriate to talk about? So I want you to kind of think about this idea of censorship. All right, so, and I'll join you for discussion there, and we'll get through it. The next thing I want you to do is you're going to come on down and you're going to check out our weekly grammar, which is the most common errors I see, other than people who do not capitalize I. That's fine for texting, but not on our discussion boards and not, in our papers for sure. So the most common are fragments, comma splices, and run-ons. And I kind of break those down, then I give you some videos. But here's the deal with a comma splice. If you have a sentence on both sides of that comma, if you could take your finger and place it on that comma and change it to a period, and you have an independent clause on one side and an independent clause on the other side, then you have a comma splice. So a comma splice is really just a run-on sentence dressed up with some punctuation. It doesn't work. So you have to use one of those fanboys, those coordinating conjunctions, the for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. One of those need to be, placed after that comma, breaking up those independent conjunctions. And so I actually kind of walk you through on the document. I show you when they're right and when they're wrong. And then we have, a couple videos that you can see and practice. Katy Perry, once again on Twitter. I think the only reason I have a Twitter account is so that you can play around with grammar mistakes. but you can see Katy Perry makes a comma splice error. So check these out, and then when you feel comfortable, you kind of feel like you're knowing what you're doing with the fragments, comma splices, and run-ons, you're going to come up here to the Grammar Practice Quiz 1. And I don't know, maybe there's 10 to 12 questions, I think. And you can take that as many times as you want until, you know, the end of the week to try to get 100. So, you know, don't stop if you don't do great off the bat. You know, one of the things I hope to see is that you learn it. And if we need to go back and look at the information again, or if you need to reach out and say, I'm still really struggling with this concept, then let me know. But we just want to make sure that we are going through and, you know, tackling this information the way that, you know, we feel comfortable with and in a way that we can master. So don't give up. Take the quiz until you get 100. You're going to do so much better on the grammar final at the end, and your overall grade will be better. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week. I'll see you on the discussion board, and reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.